I'm going too fast, let me know.
Oh, no,
I like to
no.
ramble on.
No, please, by all means, keep going.
In 1830, a family by the name of Harrisons bought the property, and they built a house here. They had 6 children. One of them was named Annabelle. And back in the 1830s, Annabelle was actually, they thought she was retarded, but she was not actually retarded, she was actually deaf. And back then they didn't know she was deaf, they thought she was retarded. They kept her locked up in the cellar. And I'll take you to the place where she was locked up. And months and months, she would start tearing out the stones, and there's a stone foundation. And this is 4 different psychics that told me they've seen Annabelle with her hands bloody to the bone. She was removing the stones, removing the mortar from the stones to escape. Well, eventually she removed enough stones to crawl through the wall. Mm-hmm. She went around the house, came out the back stairwell, which I'll show you. The father caught her, pushed her down the stairs so you get back in your room, and she fell and broke her neck and died. That's the second recorded death here. And that's the most prominent spirit we have here, is the little girl, Annabelle. And I don't know if you talked to any of their kids that I brought here for tours. Numerous students from IC have actually felt Annabelle touching them.
Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll tell you a little bit more what's going on with the rest. The restaurant is actually closing. Oh. It's only going to be open another month. I was just talking to Linda. He's turning it all into apartments. 2 apartments were just finished last week. They're already rented out. So we can't go up in the attic. The attic is the most haunted part of the whole building. Mm-hmm. But there's people living upstairs now, so we can't go up there. I wish we could, but
Yeah.
it's not ready to go through their apartments.
I wonder if they're experiencing things with the renovations.
I don't think they know anything yet. You know, I mean, you heard Elena talking, you know, and Linda.
Oh boy.
And they're seeing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I was up in the attic a couple weeks ago, and we can't even get up in there because there's wires all over the place. The floorboards are gone now. But anyway, we'll progress through time. Mm-hmm. Nothing else is recorded between 1830 to 1940. At least nothing that I know of. Mm-hmm. I mean, numerous families have owned it. 1940s, a family by the name of Day, D-E-Y, bought the place. They had a 14-year-old boy who was troubled. He committed suicide upstairs, shot himself. And actually the family still lives down the road. 1950s, Rose and Emery Barron bought the place as a home. They decided to turn it into a restaurant. And they started the Friday night seafood buffets, which we still continues today. Rose loved this place. They lived on the 3rd floor, which is the attic now. Caught on fire in the 1960s, totally gutted. But that was their apartment. It was a huge apartment. Mm-hmm. Her husband, Emery, was killed in an airplane accident up in Oxford, which is right up the road. His spirit's still here, too. And if I'm going too fast, tell me.
No.
Okay.
Please keep going. It's good.
After Emery died, her brother Albert Ouellette, it's Ouillette, he became part owner of the restaurant with Rose Barron. Actually, Rose Barron's daughter still lives across the street,
Wow.
Williamson's. I'm surprised they're not here tonight. They're usually here on Friday nights. They would be the people to talk to.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they don't believe in the ghosts, though.
Yeah.
But Albert Ouellette said a woman should never bartend. And you heard Elena talking about the stuff happening here. Mm-hmm. She's had so much stuff happen to her because we know it's Albert's ghost. Albert committed suicide upstairs also. Okay. That's the 3rd recorded death.
So 2 people have committed suicide upstairs in the attic?
Yes.
Wow.
Albert committed suicide, we don't know why.
How did he commit suicide?
He shot himself. Or no, I'm sorry, he hung himself. Albert hung himself. So his spirit is still here. And he picks on Elena constantly because he does not like, he has nothing against women. He was married. He said women should never bartend, though. Bartending's a male's job. When he owned the bar with Mrs. Barron, he did all the bartending. Mrs. Barron took care of the food.
Right.
Anyway, Elena has had traumatic experiences with Albert. And one, which and I don't want to sound dirty or anything, but one is actually I witnessed 3. But the worst one was we were up in the attic doing an investigation with my original team. we had 4 members of my original team. There's only 2 of us left because there a lady who belonged to our team, her husband committed suicide on Halloween night 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
And it was right after we left here. He was with us that night. He went home and shot himself.
Oh my God.
Right after that, she says, I can't be on your team
Right.
anymore. I says, that's...
Yeah.
And then one other person just dropped out, but
Mm-hmm.
there's only 2 of us left. But anyway, you know, we were doing these investigations and we're finding more and more stuff. And then Michael Zimmer bought the place. Well, let's go back to the Barons. They built a restaurant in 1960.
Okay.
Okay. They lived upstairs. After Rose died a normal death. Her spirit elected to remain here because this was her home. So her spirit's still upstairs in the attic. So it's another entity that we have here.
Mhm.
Mr. Barron's around somewhere. We run into him every once in a while. On Friday nights, they used to play cards upstairs. There was a fellow by the name of Walter Lukowitz, who was a ladies' man. Always had a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Always had a martini in his hand. And I don't know if you know any of the kids from the Park School of Communication, but once we brought on the tours, several of the girls felt Walter rubbing his hand through their hair.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty creepy.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
Yeah, have you heard that story?
Mhm.
But that was Walter.
Oh gosh.
He did not die here, but he still thinks he's playing cards on Friday nights.
Wow.
And he's a pretty cool dude. You know, he's a woman's man. So his ghost is still here.
Even
This
the
room right
afterlife.
here where we just walked through,
Mm-hmm.
1969 or 1970, an elderly man, I forgot his name now, I got his name somewhere, but he died of a massive heart attack right at the front, right at the door, and we just came through a little while ago.
Okay.
His spirit's still here. We progressed through time. A couple other entities here. You know, they're just, we have what's called transient spirits that come and go. Mrs. Barron, after Mr. Emery Barron died, she became a lady of the night. Had a lot of men come up here, you know, visit her. She had some transients, there's a transient spirit here. And she had other male, you know, acquaintances. And so their spirits are here. They're still visiting her. And they come and go as they please. They're harmless. About 4 years ago, a dishwasher here, he wanted to be a chef. He was going home at night, probably about this time at night, riding a bicycle, I don't know why, down Route 12, got killed by a drunk driver.
Oh my God.
His spirit is in this room right next to us. And he used to hang out in this room right over here. It's a maintenance room, I'll show you where it is. And his spirit's still there. And he wanted to be an inspiring chef. And he was only, I think, 17 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's another entity here.
Mhm.
And this place is so ripe with entities, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
And I strongly believe, after all the investigations I've done all over New York State, all over the East Coast, this is probably the most haunted place I've ever been in. And I strongly believe that this is more haunted than the Jenny Wade house in Gettysburg.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jenny Wade house is only one spirit.
Mm-hmm.
This has several.
Do you find it hard to differentiate between spirits?
Or can you
No,
tell them apart?
I have the ability. I can tell between male and female.
Wow.
I can tell their age.
It's just something that you sense.
I sense. Anybody can have it. You can do it too. You just have to develop the skill. Everybody
Right.
has it.
Right.
Have any of you seen people, something out of the corner of your eye? Well, when we were sitting at the bar, you heard us talk about the shadow
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Linda's seen some people. Elena's seen shadow people. Have you ever seen something out of the corner of your eye but wasn't sure what it was?
Mhm.
That's what we call the shadow people.
Wow.
Those are actual spirits.
Wow.
Yeah. I know in my house, I lived in a house that was built during the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling my wife it's not haunted. But it's really, there's no entities there except our cat Midnight that died. She was very old. She was like 20-something years, very old for a cat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gosh.
Wow.
The dogs, you know, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. And the dogs would just start barking for no
Right.
reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see her running right across the living room floor.
Oh wow.
I can see the shadow person. And I know it's her.
Yeah.
It's Midnight.
Shadow.
Animals can have a spirit.